This just in, breaking news.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Best story just broke. And this isn't even really like a breaking news story. It's just, something happens and then it suddenly makes its way onto Twitter and it goes viral. And I cannot get enough of this. This is the greatest thing ever. So every year, Pornhub puts out their lists, not really a list. They have a country, our country, and by state, they list the most popular porn searches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like for example, so if you look at Texas, Texas is purple and the word lesbian is written across Texas. Because
that's very surprising.
Really? So you think Texas favorite Pornhub search term lesbian is a surprise?
I would think that's a surprise for Texas, yes.
Okay. Well, where would you expect there to be a lot of lesbian searches then, if not Texas?
California.
Nope.
No, it wouldn't be Connecticut.
Nope. Little Connecticut has a different thing that they like. Here's what's interesting about this. Remember, what you search for in the world of porn has to do with your fantasy, right? That's all fantasy stuff and it's private. So the only reason why Pornhub knows it is because they know what the most searched thing is in every state. They're not going to go call out, some dude in Jackson Hole, Wyoming and be like, hey, we see you're into MILF. Like they don't do that, but they do see that it varies by state. But what's really interesting is it's sort of clustered. Okay. So if you look at Mississippi, Alabama, Atlanta, that area, it's all ebony.
Oh, that's what they search for.
Yeah, the number one search term in the Georgia, I said Atlanta, but really I mean Georgia. In the Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi area is ebony. So that kind of makes sense to me, of course. Like that's, but maybe it doesn't, because I think the whole idea here is that it's usually counterintuitive that if you're in like a really, really, white, even like racist state, you would probably, be peeking at something that is taboo for you. But I don't think in Georgia, ebony is taboo. So that's sort of expected.
If black people are searching for ebony or white people are searching for ebony. Right.
I know. Yeah.
Because I don't think if you're black, you're going to search for that name. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
That's kind of strange.
Right. So like Alaska also has lesbian as their number one search term. But is that because there's a ton of lesbians in Alaska being like,
I don't think there's hardly any.
Check out the lesbian situation. Or is there hardly any? And it's a fantasy of whoever it is that's searching, male or female. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what's interesting. Is it a popular search term because it's taboo? Is it a popular search term because it isn't taboo, because it's so regular? I wonder. So what's also interesting is the cluster of, like, if you look at everywhere from Michigan down through Ohio into Pennsylvania, that whole little sweep of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 states in that little area. All MILF.
Really?
Yep.
So are you packing now or are you packing later tonight? They're into chicks like you. So, yeah.
I know. It's like, I was going to start OnlyFans. I was going to do it here in New York, but it's not. New York is into threesome. Threesome is the number one term in New York. So, yeah, maybe I'll move to Ohio and start a MILF OnlyFans.
You can pretend you have kids.
Yeah, I mean, look at my body. It looks like I've had many.
And a couple C-sections.
Wow, look at those stretch marks. She must have like 11 kids.
That's hot.
But see, the reason why this becomes very interesting is it's the states that only have one term that nobody else has, the more unique terms. So that's really why it's gone viral. So the most popular terms, as we said, are MILF, ebony, lesbian, and Asian. Asian's really popular. California, that's the number one most searched term.
Really?
So yeah, Hawaii, California, New Mexico, Nevada, Asian.
Mm.
Okay. But here are the interesting ones. So Maine, which you would think is, I don't know. I don't know what I think of Maine. Maine feels pretty laid back, footloose, fancy free. You move to Maine to get away from it all, to get away from the big cities, you know. The number one search term in Maine is BDSM.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it would be lobster. Or, yeah.
Well, right, exactly. You know, that's what's interesting because you would think it has something to do with where the people are living in their regular day-to-day life. Like Florida, the number one porn search term is boats.
Boats?
Right.
Sex with boats or sex on boats?
I don't know. Maybe a little of both.
Never even heard of that.
Well, right. That's the weird thing about it. So Montana, it's librarian.
Really?
Yep. But that's the only state. No one else is interested in librarians. Montana?
Is it just one guy in Montana that just searches that a lot?
Over and over and over.
Right.
And you're just like, wow.
Because there's only probably like 6 people in Montana total. So one guy could be searching librarian a lot.
So something else that was really interesting this is great. Colorado, the number one search term on Pornhub, droopy balls.
Droopy balls.
They're looking for droopy balls.
Is a thing you can put into Pornhub?
Who you're asking? I had no idea.
That has to be one person.
I was today years old when I learned that droopy balls was a term that people actually type in the search engine for Pornhub.
That's the strangest thing to put in. I wonder if people that work at Pornhub just want to end their life every single day when they see what people are searching. It's like, I don't even believe in humanity anymore. If somebody is searching droopy balls in porn.
No, not somebody. The entire state of Colorado.
I don't know which is worse, droopy balls or boat. I don't understand that.
Oh, it gets worse, my friend.
Oh, no, it can't get worse than droopy balls.
It does. It gets offensive and it gets weird.
Oh no.
So let's first go with offensive.
No,
Michigan. Yeah, I hate to tell you this as somebody who is from Michigan. You are from Michigan. The number one Pornhub search term in Michigan is racist.
Racist.
Like, that's a porn term? I can't even, in my mind, I couldn't even imagine what the sex is that goes with that.
That's
you know what I mean?
Very strange.
Yeah, that's out
Michigan
there.
is very racist. The it's very different. So I can kind of see that, but it's still kind of strange.
Right. North Carolina and Connecticut are the only two that have this one term in common, which I thought was a bigger category in the world of porn, and that's stepsister.
Because it's North Carolina, of course. That's just the mountains of North Carolina. Stepsister.
And Connecticut. What do you make of that?
There's 2 people that have the hots for their sister in Connecticut. It just keeps her. But yeah, in North Carolina, it's the mountains. It's got to be. It's everybody in Asheville.
Right. But remember, porn for a lot of people is about taboo. So
nothing can be more taboo than that.
Stepsister. Yeah, that's pretty funny. This is really weird. I have 2 more for you that are making national news right now because they're just so weird that people cannot get their mind around it. It is only in Oklahoma. It is nowhere else in the country. The number one searched term on Pornhub in Oklahoma is goth hospital. Like, that's a thing. Goth I get, like goth, like those women that, dress all in black and their skin is white and they're sort of like, hey,
like
annihilation.
Suicide Girls.
Yeah, Suicide Girls. Fuck you, fuck this, fuck me, go kill yourself. But goth hospital. That's the real, like, what?
What? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know what a goth hospital is, but you know that as soon as we get off the air, I'm going to Pornhub. I'm going to be like, goth hospital? What is that?
Now it's going to be number one in New York.
Right, exactly. I'll search enough. But so as weird as racist is for Michigan, as weird as BDSM is for Maine, as weird as boats is for Florida and librarian, the number one thing that is making national news right now is Tennessee. Kevin James is the number one search porn term in Tennessee.
That's not right. That can't be right. Where did you get this study? This is crazy.
No, Pornhub put out this list themselves. It is Pornhub's list.
Do you want to see Kevin James naked?
Well, I don't, but
Paul Bart? You want to see Paul Bart naked?
I'm just telling you, listen, I'm just here to report the facts. I'm not here to explain them and what messed up minds there are in Tennessee that they're like, well, let's see. I can go MILF. Nah. Lesbian. Passe. Threesome. That's so 1990. Kevin James.
Does Kevin James have a porn? No, please don't look. Do not look for that at all.
Trust me, after I look at Goth Hospital, I'm going right to Kevin James. Right to Kevin James.
On Pornhub all night long.
Yeah, I will be. And then it's suddenly be like New York.
Library. Look up boats. Yeah. Boats.
I didn't realize those are the search terms. You know, as somebody who is, you know, I don't dislike porn. I'm just not a aficionado the way people are. I didn't realize that it runs that deep, that you can be that specific. I thought it's just like, you know, you go to porn and you look at porn, like whatever they have there, you just click on it. There it is. I didn't realize that you can actually design your own. Like, it's not just threesome. Like, that makes sense. Threesome. There you go. 3 people show up.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin James? Like, why stop there?
I mean, why wouldn't it be Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Brad Pitt? I mean, the famous people who had porn, you know, videos, Tommy Lee. Why Kevin James?
But that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go with Kevin James, who is, I didn't realize, a sex symbol, but apparently people are just wanking it to Kevin James left and right.
I wonder if guys are looking for that or women are looking for that.
Everybody in Tennessee, everybody in Nashville.
Wow.
I know. Memphis and Nashville, they're like, Kevin James, bring him on, man.
Is
bring
he
that
even
guy
from Tennessee?
Bring that man muffin on.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's crazy. I don't even know what to say now. But yeah, look up Kevin James and Goth Hospital for me and let me know what it is, because I'm not looking that up.
Yeah, I'll do some research later.
I don't need that in my computer. There's no way I can live that. I would have to throw my computer in the lake the minute I search for Kevin James porn.
I know. Can you imagine, like, in one of these situations that you end up, I don't know, like your significant other is found dead, and they go and the first thing they do is look at your computer to see what you've been searching.
He was looking up like boat porn and Ebony and Kevin James.
Yep, he must have done it, because this is wackadoodle.
Take this back.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Your ex-husband was raised in some house that bad things happened.
Not just some house. My ex-husband's family bought Martha Moxley's house right after she was murdered by Tommy Skakel. And if you remember, the Skakel kids, Skakel is they're relatives of the Kennedys. So the Kennedy family, ostensibly, grew up next door to my ex-husband. He bought this gorgeous house in Greenwich. His family did. And they were like, oh, why is this house so cheap? And the reason why it was so cheap is because a murder took place on the property, but not in the house. So it didn't have to be reported. It took place on the property. So Martha Moxley, you just Google it. It's a famous story from the, I'm going to say 80s, 90s, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 70s. I don't know how long ago it was, but Martha Moxley was murdered in his house, and they grew up next door to the Skakels, a.k.a. the murderers.
Did they decorate for Halloween?
That was the whole thing. So when they moved into the house, it was just after Halloween that she was killed. There was or maybe just before. There was a huge Halloween party they were planning, and the entire basement there was gravestones, and it was like you walked into this murder house and the whole thing was decorated for Halloween. It was so creepy.
But do you think the neighbors had an issue with that?
With what? With the house being decorated for Halloween?
Right.
I think once you buy a house in Greenwich for millions of dollars, you can do with it whatever you please.
Well, there's a house in Kent County, Michigan, where 3 murders took place 20 years ago. And these were not nice murders. These are horrible, horrible murders, where a kid beat his mom and his sister with a baseball bat and then stabbed them and then cut his throat of his 6-year-old sister and all that. So the house is still there 20 years later. So the people that now bought the house decided they're going to decorate for Halloween. And the neighbors have an issue with this.
Why?
There are 3 gravestones in the front yard. There are bloody handprints all over the inside of the windows. Police tape around the house, and a sign on the front door that says, "Help us."
Okay, so it's not like they're just putting up a couple of skeletons and a witch's hat. They're actually more than embracing. I mean, they're actually making fun of the murders that took place in their house.
And wouldn't this be bad if they didn't know that was the house and they just went ahead and decorated for Halloween not knowing?
Well, they had to know. Okay, so here's the thing. If a murder takes place inside a house, they have to disclose that. So the kind of person who buys a murder house is the kind of person who's a little on the dark side to begin with. I can understand decorating in general, but to really embrace these murders that just happened 20 years ago, if they happened 120 years ago or 220 years ago, I think you have some leeway. But these are modern times. Like that happened it's a gruesome murder. It happened way too recent. That is incredibly insensitive. I too would have a problem with that if I was the neighbor.
Yeah, and here's what the home looks like out front when you drive by now, and you see the 3 gravestones, the bloody handprints, police tape, all around it.
Okay, so you're showing me video. All right, so here's the thing about this. Let me just say this to describe to people. It's not high end. It's pretty lame. It's not, it's one thing if like the house was really embracing it and doing like some homage to it, but this isn't. This is like lame. It's 3 lame pieces of wood that say "rest in peace" on them. It's that image with the hands from "Let the Right One In." So I've seen that before. They've scrawled the words "Help Us," and this was a triple murder. This was a gruesome triple murder. Not just the police tape, but they have the little numbers.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. So they have the little numbers for where the bullets are, like a 2 and a 3 and stuff like that in front of the house.
Yeah, no, this is in poor taste.
Okay, so you would have an issue with this.
I have a huge issue with this. Yeah, this is disrespectful, Yeah, and imagine if you're the family. Imagine if you're the family of those people. Like that's, oh man. So you think that the murder of my family is so funny that you're going to, I mean, it's not like they're doing it in a respectful way where they're not trying to memorialize these 3 people.
Right.
Where they're trying to do a decent thing. I mean, this is exploitation. This is kind of gross.
So if I buy the Amityville house, I shouldn't do that?
No, see, that's different. The Amityville house is historic at this point. Everybody knows it. It happened so many years ago. If it even happened, people still say that it's
No, the murders happened.
Yeah.
The family got killed in the house. So that happened. There was, 5 people that died in that house. So we know that was true.
Oh, okay. I thought the whole thing was fiction.
No. He actually did go around. See, that's the great story about the Amityville house is all 5 people were killed in the house, but they all were found face down in their bed, shot, which is crazy because why didn't anybody wake up?
Well, they were probably drugged.
And nobody on the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And the houses are pretty close.
Right. But then you can use a silencer. There's a lot of ways to not hear a gunshot. Turn the music up. There's plenty of things that you can do. And the houses aren't that close. We've been there. It's not, they're not like right on top of each other. These are big, very expensive $1 million homes. So there's some property around them.
Yeah. And there's rumor the house is going to go back up on the market. I'm going to buy that house.
I know you do. But, I think, murders that took place, historic murders that took place a long time ago, they're in the history books. If you want to embrace it, I guess that's your prerogative. I don't know why you would, but fine. If it's something that happened in the 1500s, 1800s, whatever. But something that happened 20 years ago where if the family is still alive, if the family of the people are still around, here's the rule. You cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
It is insensitive. It's cruel. It's mean. It's rubbing their face in it. Yeah, no, that's awful. They're awful human beings.
But if everybody in the family's dead, then game on.
Yeah, but everybody would have to be dead for a long time.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
So I've been, we go for a walk. Marigold and I go for a long walk every single day. And there's this one area near where I live where it's like a lot of big buildings that have been there forever. And there's a lot of paths. So you can walk where there's no traffic and there's no lights and you can just sort of wander around. And it goes for literally blocks and blocks. So it's a good place to kind of like wander around, get lost. You can go a different way every single time. But I always go the same direction because I like to stay on the outside, circle around and make it a long walk, rather than just sort of weaving my way through. So it's this one day that I don't know what I was doing. I just felt like weaving my way through this one particular way that I've never been before. I figured, let's do that. And I start walking and I see this big red bag shoved under a bench. And I was like, that looks like Joe's bag. That looks just like my boyfriend's bag. How weird that my boyfriend
in the city of New York.
Right. How weird that a bag that looks like my boyfriend's bag is shoved under a bench. So I walk a little closer and I was like, no, wait, this is his bag. Like, there's no way this is not his bag. It's worn in the right places. I see there's a stain on it, an ink stain that I remember like he stuck a pen in there and exploded. I was like, no, this is his bag. And I open it and I pull out one of his locks and his hat. And I was like, so
what
I call him.
Heck?
Yeah. So I call him. I was like, no, I'm not going to call him. I'm just going to show up at our house with his bag around my body and see if he notices. So I walk in the house and he goes, what are you doing with my bag? I said, I found it under a bench. Like, you left it in Stuytown. You left it sitting there in Stuytown. I happened to happen upon it and recognized it. And he was like, no way. It was one of those days that like he had a long day, then he had theater and he was up late and he hadn't gotten a lot of sleep. And he went to that bench to have breakfast. He sat there eating, put his bag under the bench while he was eating, and then just got up and walked away.
What are the odds?
That's what I said. What are the odds? And he had breakfast at like 11 o'clock and I was there at like 1. So what are the odds that it sat there for 2 hours and nobody touched it? Nobody picked it up. Nobody went through it. There's security that walks around there. There's actually security that goes on one of those. There's bike security. And then there's
the Paul Blart people.
Yeah, the Paul Blart people.
Right.
No, nobody picked it up. I happened upon his bag and it was his bag. And I was like, dude, you gotta pay more attention while you're out there in the world.
Well, in this day and age, when you see a bag underneath a bench, you don't go and pick it up and look into it. So, that could be a bomb. That could be anything. So,
but even more so in the middle of New York, no one said, hey, there's an unattended bag there. Like nobody mentioned it in 2 hours.
Did he not know he lost it?
No, that's what I'm saying. He was so tired and out of it, he didn't realize.
But when he got back home, did he realize?
When he got back, no, he thought he had it with him, or he thought he didn't bring it, or whatever he thought. He was surprised to see it around my body walking in the door. So yeah, he was very surprised, and it turns out he is not the only one who is surprised that they lost something and easily got it back.
Sabine and I are coming home from New York Comic Con, and a phone starts ringing in the back of the cab. We pick it up, and eventually find out whose phone it is, and we get a phone call from somebody who's very nervous that they've lost their phone. And look whose phone it is.
Superstar. How about that?
Superstar.
No, so this has never happened to me because I am very reliable with my phone, but it must have slipped out of my purse. And I was panicked. I got back to my hotel.
Molly Shannon.
And I did find my iPhone, and I'm seeing my phone on like 33rd Street, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get it back. But then I called the hotel, and they called my number, and Vincent was so kind to pick up, and I got my phone back from Vincent and Josephine. And I said it's very serendipitous that we all meet, so there's some reason for it.
Yes,
so,
and then I let her know that we're swingers, and she's staying the night.
Yeah, it all worked out great. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
So she goes and she hugs them. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like they found Molly Shannon's phone
in the back of a cab.
In the back of a cab, and Molly Shannon came to their house to pick up her phone.
Can you imagine losing your phone and not having it? I mean, your whole life is in your phone.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And then getting it back. Because now, you really can't open it up and find out whose it is because it's locked. Yeah.
Especially, celebrity's phone, of course. But that's why it was good when once the phone rings and it's ringing, you can pick it up. Hello, there you go. And then you could figure out like, hi, whose phone is this? Hi, who's speaking?
I wouldn't even know how to go find my phone. I guess you do it on I wouldn't even know how to do that.
There's an app on your phone.
If I don't have my phone, I'm saying if I lose my phone in the back of a cab, I don't know how to find it.
I know, but those apps are everywhere. That app should be on your laptop, on your desktop. I mean, on your iPad.
Right.
You can access that app from elsewhere.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't know how I'd be.
Yeah, that's why it's a good idea. If you have a Find My app, you should have a significant other or a child or somebody else in your family that has your phone on their app as well. That way they can find, because I have my boyfriend's on mine.
Well, that's because you want to find him.
Well, exactly. Where's my bitch at? But if he loses, and my mother's also, if my mother loses her phone, she can call me and I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have other people on your Where's My Bitch At app.
It's funny now that you can lose anything else. You can lose your bag like Joe did, or you lose your keys, but you don't lose your phone. That's the one thing that's always in your hand. So it's almost impossible to lose it. Right.
Yeah, no, or it's always in your hand, so it's really easy to lose because it's easy. You put it down. I followed this girl the other day. I was so amazed. She had this pair of like super tight pants on, but the pocket was a short pocket, and she had, an extra large phone, like an 11 Max or whatever, right. And it looked like it was barely in her pocket. I'm like, she's going to lose that phone. That phone's going to fall right out. And I folled her for a few blocks because I was so amazed by it. I was so fascinated. For your phone to
fall out or somebody to bump into her and take it.
No, I was going to say something to her, but I was like, no, I didn't want to. That's so Karen to be like, your phone's falling out of your pocket. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I was just curious to see how the whole thing was going to go because she gets out of a cab. The phone's like dangling. But I mean, after a while, I was like, I can't follow this chick. I gotta go this way.
She's gonna lose it, but there's nothing I can do about it.
I hope it ends up okay for her. It's no longer my problem.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
So So there was a new study that came out today, and I was like, oh my God, Anthony's going to love this one. Okay, so here's the study. They asked thousands of people, what is something that is so annoying it should be illegal?
Driving in the left lane and driving slow.
What, so there should be nobody ever in the left lane?
No, you should never drive in the left lane unless you're passing or driving 20 miles over the speed limit. That's the only reason you should be in the left lane.
Right.
Drives me insane every day.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one didn't even make the list. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Talking on the phone, texting on the phone should be illegal in every state, but it's not.
You mean while you're driving?
Right.
Because you can talk on your phone, text on your phone whenever you want to, but you're saying while you're driving.
Oh, yeah, while you're driving. Sorry.
Okay.
While you're driving a vehicle, you shouldn't be on your phone at all. I loved that about New York is you couldn't drive with your phone in your hand at all. So you can have your phone in your hand when you're talking on it, texting, anything.
Oh, they pull you right over. Yeah, they can't wait to
I
pull
got
you
pulled
over
over
for
for
that.
talking on my phone in New York.
Yep. See,
So-
they love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so here, people they can't drive without it. So that should be illegal.
Yeah, there's two other phone-oriented ones that made this list. One of them was gym selfies. People think that gym selfies are so annoying they should be illegal, but also because when you're taking a gym selfie, you're usually getting other people in the background.
Mhm.
I don't want to be in the background of your Instagram story. Like, that's just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to be part of your life. Like, don't bring me into this.
That was happening the other day at a store. Two 15-year-old girls were sitting there taking selfies and doing an Instagram story as they're walking around, and I'm behind them. Like, I don't want to be part of your story. Stop it.
Right. Well, in my neighborhood now, because for some reason there's all these, even though it's not even really, it's not spring, but for some reason there's there's leaves and that people are putting out all their decorations for fall, like the harvest stuff, whatever. So all of these Instagram influencers are flying out of their houses and they come out with their friends who are their professional photographers and they're all dressed up to the nines, right? They wear whatever outfit they're being paid to wear. And they do these little things where they pretend to leap up in the air or they pretend to leap over a puddle. Like my neighborhood is full of these people. You cannot walk down the street with some Instagram influencer not bumping into you because they're trying to do like a little cute little like, ooh, leap, like, oh, look how cute I am. Oh,
And
look
you're
at this
behind
move.
them watching this.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
part of it.
Right. And you're the blur behind them. Like, I'm sorry. You're getting paid for this. I'm not. Sorry. Not okay. So what also made the list is that it should be illegal to talk on a speakerphone in public.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time I go into a store, somebody is doing that.
There's a trend in New York right now that I don't know what's going on, but people are not using headphones and they're walking around with either an actual boom box or something connected to their phone, like a speaker connected to their phone outside, like it's 1972. Like no headphones, just so everybody can hear their stupid, awful music.
No, that's what you have headphones for.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to hear that. I don't want to listen to your conversation. I don't want to listen to your music.
This is interesting on the list. Something that is so annoying it should be illegal. Sitting on the same side of a table at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
What do you care? Why does that bother you? Why do you care if I want to sit on the banquette and my boyfriend wants to sit on the banquette and nobody wants to sit on a chair? What do you care?
I'll tell you why I care is because when I walk into that restaurant, my wife's going to say, why don't you sit next to me like that? And I'll say, no, I did not. No. You don't want to look and go, oh, that's that couple. He has
Right.
to sit next to her. She's that big of a pain in the ass. She can't sit on her own side of the table.
No, they're so in love they want to hold
Oh
hands
my
during
God.
dessert.
Yeah, I want to hold hands while I eat. I've had that before. Hold my hand while I eat. Shut up.
When my boyfriend and I first started dating, there was this French restaurant downtown that we used to go to all the time. And the only reason why we sat on the same side is because we sat in a corner table. It was a banquette and the chairs were right near where the kitchen was, in and out, and they used to bunk into the chair, like they'd bump into you. So we always sat on the same side because it wasn't that crowded. And that way we can like have a private conversation and no one's bumping into you on their way in and out of the kitchen.
You want to sit next to each other? You know what? Do it at home. Eat
Sit on the
something on your couch and sit next to each other. I don't want to see that at a restaurant. Oh, aren't they so cute? No, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. She's a pain in the ass. That's the only reason why he's sitting next to her is because she's a pain in the ass.
Also on this list was not socially distancing on a line like at CVS. Like somebody standing like right behind you when you're on a line, like waiting for self-checkout. Singing along loudly at a concert. That's a big pet peeve that a lot of people have, and that should be illegal. You're paying a lot of money for a concert. I don't need you singing every lyric behind me terribly when the band is like, right in front of me.
No, I think that's fine. It's so loud at a concert. If you're singing over the band, then you should get a prize anyway.
Right.
Because you have a really good voice then.
There's 3 more on the list. People really, really hate and think that it should be illegal to have the unskippable YouTube ads. I mean, YouTube, it's so crazy, like how they finally caught up to us. The big joke was like, how fast can you hit the skip ad thing? Well, joke's on us because now they have unskippable ads. You got to sit there, and sometimes there's like 2 in a row.
That's the problem. It's starting with 2 now. So
Yeah.
you have one and you go, oh, I could skip it 5 seconds into it. Then another one pops up. So now, as of, what is this, October 13th, there are 2 ads at the beginning of every YouTube commercial. In a year's time, they're going to be 6.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
going to look back and go, I remember when there was only 2.
Right. Yeah. And now they do the same thing that like Hulu does if you don't pay for the no ad Hulu, which is what, we have. Where they, in the middle of it, they stop down. Like literally somebody is about to say, so I really recommend if you're going to paint your wall, you should use, and then it goes right to an ad.
And it's the same ad. If I see
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Beyonce one more time,
Right.
you reached me once. That's enough. I don't
Sick
have
of
to
that
see the
one.
commercial every time you go to a commercial.
And there's one more on the list and one more that I don't like. So on the list, bringing your children into bars, is that a problem? Are people going to bars and bringing kids?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been to a bar in forever. So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's one
Restaurants,
thing if-
yes.
Well, restaurants, obviously, kids have to eat, but an actual bar, like a place that's a pub that is just meant for drinking and partying, like that's interesting. I think that I've definitely seen that as a bartender. I was a bartender for years. I can count on one hand how many times people brought a child in. Like that's not very common in New York.
Mm.
But I don't know, maybe it's a thing now. And finally, this is also a very New York thing. I don't know if you guys are having this problem. Those e-bikes, this, have you seen the
No.
e-bikes? Okay, so regular bicycle.
Mm.
It's an electronic bike. It's a bicycle with a motor, and it goes like 50 miles an hour, which is a problem because it's not a car, so you can't go in the lane with the cars, and it's not a bicycle. So I'm there pedaling along, 15 miles an hour, and these things are flying by. Dangerous.
Is there a bunch of
'cause-
them?
Oh my God, there's tons. There's literally more of those in New York right now than actual people pedaling bikes because that's what all the delivery people use.
Oh.
Yeah, they were illegal in New York, and then stupid de Blasio was like, I'm not going to make those illegal. It's like, fuck you, asshole. Now you've put all of us in jeopardy.
Are they rentable, or is this something that you buy?
Well, that's what's interesting. So they're purchased or they're owned by the restaurants for the delivery people. But now, all the Cityettes, the people that walk around that do the city bikes.
Mm.
So City Bike now has e-bikes as well. They're not as fast because city bikes are shitty. They're terrible, which is why we call them Cityettes.
Mm.
They're terrible. They have really bad brakes and they're really dangerous. So yeah, I don't know. It's a thing in New York, but there I am in my stupid, my bike, my bikey, my big white
So
bikey.
this is not a gasoline engine. These are electric, so you really can't hear them when they fly past you.
That's the problem. You plug them in, it's an electric bike, and you don't hear them coming, and suddenly, vroom!
And they run you off the road. That's not a real bike. You can't be here.
Right. It's like a car on two wheels.
That's called a motorcycle, by the way.
Oh, that's right. I knew it was familiar.
Wonder if we should invent a car with two wheels. What shall we call it? I don't know. E-bike? No, that's a motorcycle. That's what we could call it.
Yeah.
They zip and they go like 50 miles an hour.
They already have those. Yeah, that's true.
I think those will be brilliant. I think we should get
People
right
will
on
love
this.
them.
What else you got? Give me more! It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Hello?
Hi, so Chelsea, do you have a nickname for an ex?
His name was really Jerry, but he goes by Krusty Suckboy in my phone now.
Krusty Sock Boy. Should I even ask why? No. Okay.
Well, if you have really terribly feet and you wear socks and they end up under your girlfriend's bed and she goes to do laundry and finds a sock that's stuck in a weird form because it's just so crusty and messy and she never calls back, that's why your name is Krusty Sock Boy.
That's why she never called back. That's why you got the nickname. No mystery there.
None.
Thank you, Chelsea. Wow. I have this one ex who is not very tall. He's actually as wide as he is tall. He's really, he's obese. Okay, let's face it, he's obese. And he's much, much younger than me. So Sean has two nicknames for him. He either calls him Baby Huey or he calls him the Teletubby. And he'll say, I think I saw the Teletubby at 7-Eleven. It's perfect because he's younger and really, really fat. So now, and it's funny because now if I ever run into him, I can't look at him without laughing hysterical because in my mind I'm like, he looks like a Teletubby.
How long did you date the Teletubby?
Just a summer. It was
That's
summer
a long
11.
time.
So it was a summer romance. He was the guy that I remember I showed up at a dinner with a bunch of my really superficial friends, and they pulled me aside in the bathroom and said, have you had a stroke? Oh, there he is. There's my guy. He's adorable. Come on, he's so cute. Hi, Deborah. Okay, enough with the Teletubby. Very funny. Anthony's entertaining himself, Deborah. So, Deborah, do you have a nickname for an ex?
Actually, I do. I used to call my ex Josh Muffin, and I still do, actually.
You do? How come?
Because all my friends give them weird nicknames, and his happened to be Muffin.
And sometimes when you see him now, are you still like, hi, Josh? Hi, Muffin. That'd be actually really funny if you ran into him when you were with somebody else and he was with somebody else. Hi, Muffin. Uh-oh. Actually, Sean Lee says I've had so many boyfriends, I don't even go by names anymore. It's a number system.
Number 46. Oh, I remember 46.
Number 4657. He was a terrible kisser. Terrible. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
So, Jessica, do you have a not-so-nice nickname for an ex?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Oh, I called him Lucifer. I still won't call him by name. It's just always Lucifer. And there's a reason why, because he was so beautiful to look at and just so evil and rotten to the core. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that would be Lucifer.
That's Lucifer, one of the most beautiful angels, but he's just rotten.
Now, Anthony has an ex named Satan. We should introduce them.
They would be great together.
They might kill each other, but hey,
It would be the end of the world if Lucifer and Satan met. So I had this one boyfriend that I had for nearly 6 years who was like a Grateful Dead head. He smoked. He was like really into Greenpeace and traveling the world. And so I get an email from him, and Sean Lee, my husband, calls him the dude.
The dude.
The dude. Oh, you heard from the dude. How's the dude? Where's the dude smoking now? The guy lives in Thailand now, and he sent me an email, and Sean's like, the dude, the Thai dude. The dude. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Leslie, you know what I'm talking about here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, what kind of nickname do you have for an ex?
Well, some people just earn their names, and my ex, we had to shorten it because I was afraid I'd actually say it out in public in the wrong place, but we just call him FH. So,
what does the H stand for?
Head. But and every time we see him or he opens his mouth, he re-earns that title.
And then when you see him and you go, "Hey, FH, what's up?" Does he know what you're saying to him?
I almost did that one time, and I was standing next to my girlfriend, and he was standing there, and I went, "Hey." And I had to catch myself because to me that is his name. I can't even call him by his real name.
Right. He's FH.
He's FH, and we kind of jokingly said we were going to take a petition to have people sign it to legally have it changed to that.
Legally have his name changed. Look, Leslie, he earned it.
He did. He has earned it time and time again. And but yeah, that's our name for him. And my girlfriends will go, "Hey, I saw FH today at the mall," or whatever. You know, when they see him, they call him that and can't even think to call him by his actual God-given name, I guess.
But Leslie, you know why you're smart? Because if you could legally change his name, you'd be protecting other women. Because if you meet a guy who says, "Hi, my name is Mike," you're like, "Okay, Mike's good." If you meet a guy who says, "Hi, my name is FH," you're like, stay away.
Right. And I considered that my civic duty to try to do that as a courtesy to all other women. But, we came up with almost enough signatures, but just couldn't get there.
That's great.
Wow.
See, my Teletubby, you just look at him, he's Teletubby. You don't even need me to warn you.
No,
You just see the little wobbly Teletubby coming at you. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Hannah, do you have a nickname for an ex?
I do. I call him Nasty Firefighter. You date a firefighter and you think, oh, well, he's a hero. No. He likes married women with children. Yeah.
Oh, see? Now, that's what I'm saying. I think that should be his regular name. That way women will be warned.
Exactly.
Yeah, get T-shirts with his picture on it, that kind of thing.
Put it up at the post office.
Yeah, like a wanted poster.
Yeah.
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Liz, do you have a nickname for an ex?
I do. I used to call my ex-boyfriend Creepy Chris. And it actually came from some of my friends of mine because we would go out to a bar or somewhere and he would just all go girls, but he was really gross about it, so they started calling him Creepy Chris.
Oh, man. And did he know that you guys called him that?
I think he heard us call him that a couple times.
Now I know why he's your ex.
Yes.
Thank you, Liz. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, how are you?
Now, Ashley, have you ever thought up a really clever nickname for an ex?
I have. My girlfriends and I, we refer to one of my exes as the deep-fried Twinkie.
Oh, no!
It's like one of those horrible carnival foods that you just crave a couple times a year, but you're totally going to regret it afterwards, and you know it. You have to have it.
Oh, my God, your explanation is perfect, because we've all had deep-fried Twinkies in our lives.
We have, and he's one of those ones that just keeps coming in and out of my life, and I let him break my heart every time, but you have to have it.
And that's so funny, because the next morning you'll call a girlfriend, they'll be like, "Hey, how are you?" You'd be like, "Deep-fried Twinkie."
Exactly, and they feel my pain. They totally do.
And the guy sounds like he is such a Twinkie, too.
He is. He's an absolute doofus, and I don't know why I keep going back, but I end up doing it and totally regret it. But it's one of those like carnival foods. You got to have it.
I love it. That's hysterical. Thank you, Ashley. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Dan, do you have a nickname for an ex?
The Wicked Witch of the Past.
The Wicked Witch of the Past. That's clever.
You like that?
Yeah. Is that only one of your ex-women, or is that all of them?
No, well, let's just say one.
Okay. I like that one. The Wicked Witch of the Past. I'm going to have to steal that one. I have to call maybe Sean's ex. I'll call her that.
I wonder what guys call you.
Their favorite girlfriend ever that they regret breaking up with.
No.
What do you think?
I'll tell you off the air.
Psycho B word.
Deep fried Twinkie.
No. They all regret it now.
Not a one.
In my fantasy, they all regret it now. So shut up, Anthony.